Hi, I'm Mark Dannenberg, CEO and founder of Options Moneymaker, and this is the Profit Builder Weekly Review for October 16th, 2015. We have completed 30 weeks of our Profit Builder program, and our 30-week performance is we have achieved $19,147 of profits. That's $19,147 of profits. 30 weeks ago, we started the program with just $5,000 of risk. So that's a huge percentage return, and we help our clients understand exactly how to simplify their trading yet grow a big account. Now, one of the ways that we help clients understand how to simplify their trading is by choosing simple indexes to trade. We trade the NASDAQ 100, we trade the S&P 500, and we trade the Russell 2000. These are not the ETFs that trail these indexes. These are the indexes themselves. So we're trading options on these indexes. Another way that we simplify our trading is that we use very simple technical tools. We use Bollinger Bands, 2 and 3 standard deviation Bollinger Bands, and we use support and resistance. Now, Bollinger Bands are very, very easy to recognize when there is a turning point that is likely in the directional movement of an index. And it's because, for the most part, the price of the index bounces back and forth between the Bollinger Bands. It stays inside the Bollinger Band envelope. On the occasions where it moves outside the Bollinger Band envelope, like it did on August 24th, where it had one of the biggest movements, an unprecedented movement that we've seen in the market, there is a very, very strong likelihood that you're going to see a bounce back inside the Bollinger Band envelope. So we can very simply choose entry points for either rising bias or declining bias positions based on where the index is trading relative to the Bollinger Bands. But we also use support and resistance, and a lot of people struggle, a lot of traders struggle in actually being able to identify where actual support and resistance is. And let me just try to simplify this for you. Look for all the natural levels of support and all the natural levels of resistance. So, for example, a natural level of support is where you see a declining set of price bars. It hits a certain price bar, hits the low on the price bar, and the next price bar or 2 price bars are higher than that. That forms a natural level of support. When you have a natural level of support that then can be tied together with previous natural levels of support with a straight line, you have a level of support. You can do the same thing on resistance. When you have a natural level of resistance where the price has been moving higher and higher, it hits a high and then it falls off of that high, that is a natural level of resistance. And again, tie together your natural levels of resistance to form an overall level of resistance. When you have both support and resistance identified in parallel, and you want your support and resistance lines to be parallel, then you have a channel. You have a range in which the index is likely to move, and that is a tradable range. When it's trading at the top of the range at or near a level of resistance, as well as at or near an upper Bollinger Band, open a declining bias trade. When it's trading at a level of support, also trading at the lower Bollinger Bands or even exceeding the Bollinger Bands, you open a rising bias trade. This is as simple as trading can be. Let's take a look at the S&P 500. We trade the NASDAQ 100, we trade the Russell 2000, and we trade the S&P 500. 3 very simple indexes to recognize the patterns, the cycles up, the cycles down, and the barriers, the brackets that surround those movements. Once you recognize those, you have a very easy time of identifying when to get into new trades and when it's appropriate to exit out of your trades. Now, if I take a look at the S&P 500, for example, and I see that Friday we closed right at the high of the day, and we closed at a level of sideways resistance that ties back to a resistance that occurred on the 17th of September. We have a parallel support that was identified with a low price point on the 29th of September. the 25th of August, and the 24th of August. So we have a channel that we've identified where within that channel we've cycled up, we've cycled down, and we are currently in the second rising cycle. The fact that we're trading at this level of resistance and the fact that we're trading also near a second line of resistance that comes off of this set of highs, it tells me that we are very close to seeing the next declining cycle. The best way for you to make money trading options is to trade both rising cycles and declining cycles. And if you can identify those pretty easily, you can spend 15 to 30 minutes a day trading. All right, so let's take a look at what our performance has been for the last 30 weeks. 30 weeks ago, we started with $5,000 of risk. We only had $11,000 in the account, but we started with the willingness to put $5,000 of capital at risk. We have recycled our capital multiple times. That means if we put $1,000 of risk into a trade, when we took profits out of that, we're putting the same $1,000 into the next trade. This is how you start to grow a big account, although you're starting with just a small amount of capital. We also compound throughout a quarter. And what that means is as we have profits, not only are we recycling the capital, but we're adding the profits to the next amount of capital that we are willing to put at risk. Now, generally we have anywhere from 3 to 5 positions open at a time, so our capital is divided across 3 to 5 positions. Our objective is to compound throughout one quarter, and then at the beginning of the next quarter, start over with a new capital risk amount that is equal to the prior quarter's beginning balance plus 50% of the profits that we accumulated during that quarter. And then we start over again. By doing this, what we're doing is we're setting aside additional amounts in cash that has no risk to it, but yet we're still benefiting from the ongoing compounding by increasing the starting balance at the beginning of each quarter. So the last 2 quarters we've done very well, or the first 2 quarters of the Profit Builder program. We earned $6,396 of profits in the first quarter, starting with $5,000. We reset to $81.98 of risk the first week of the second quarter, and that was the $5,000 plus 50% of the profits from the first quarter. We earned another $11,954 in the second quarter. And now we have started our third quarter of the Profit Builder program. We started with $14,175, which is the $81.98 plus 50% of the profits that we earned last quarter. So to date, we have accumulated a total of $19,147. That's over a 30-week period, starting with just $5,000 of risk. We've still never risked more than $5,000 of our own money. All of the risk after that first week has been from profits that we have accumulated. And as we start over each quarter, we reset so that we're setting aside more and more of the profits in cash. Now, since August 24th, when we saw the big drop in the market, when we saw that unprecedented move, we have been navigating our way through positions that we had a bit of a challenge with, but that is part of the reality of trading. You need to face full on the challenges you have with some positions. You don't run away from them. You don't just throw the towel in and say, "Oop, I can't do this." You manage your positions. And so you can see from the week of August 24th, where we had a profit, to the following week where we had a loss, to the following week where we had no profits, to having a loss, to a win, and then the last 2 weeks. Last week, we had a significant profit. Now, I think it was a somewhat artificially inflated profit because we were able to take profits on positions that we were managing, and we still held some liabilities out there. This week, closing October 16th, we retired those liabilities, and when we net the 2 weeks together, we're still net positive. And folks, all I care about is whether or not we are overall net positive since we started the Profit Builder program, and overall how we're doing quarter to date. Now, our quarter to date number for this quarter is that we are net positive $796. Now that's not big profits, but it is profits. And what we have done in the last several weeks is we've navigated our way successfully through the retirement of some positions that we had a challenge with. It is also a reality that you're going to have losses on some positions. It's a reality that no matter how thoroughly you scrub the chart, you're going to have some challenges on some positions, and you have to deal with those. You either have to take a loss or you have to manage them. We've done a little bit of both since the week of August 24th. And so since the week of August 24th, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 profitable weeks, and we've had 1, 2, 3 losing weeks, and then we had 1 week that was flat. So what we're doing is we're getting ourselves back to kind of our normal state of profit generation, which you can see how we were doing for the first 2 quarters of the Profit Builder program. But here's the bottom line, and this is my summary point here. It doesn't matter to me what we managed in here. It doesn't matter to me what we took losses on. It doesn't matter to me that we took a weekly loss here or there. All that matters to me is how are we performing relative to our total accumulated profits and losses. And when I can look back over a 30-week period, and I can say that in 30 weeks I've generated $19,147 of profits, having started with just a $5,000 risk 30 weeks ago, that's huge. 6 months from now, you'll never remember when that big movement was, or maybe you had to manage more positions than normal during a 2 or 3 week period. All that matters is we retained the profits that we had prior to that big move. You can see here where we were prior to that big move on August 24th, and we've basically retained all of our profits. It took a little work for us, but that's what we teach people in the Profit Builder program. If you want to be a trader and you want to be a successful trader, then you have to learn how to navigate your way through the pluses as well as the minuses. Okay, so if what you're hearing is of interest to you, check us out at ommprofitbuilders.com. ommprofitbuilders.com. I'm Mark Dannenberg. I am the CEO and founder of Options Moneymaker. We love helping traders learn how to trade successfully. We love pointing them in the right direction, giving them the tools, simplifying trading for them, and helping them learn how to generate consistent profits. And if you have any interest at all in earning yourself $19,000 over a 30-week period, I can't guarantee you'll do that, but check us out, and perhaps you too can learn how to generate your own set of profits, start small and grow a big account. I'll be back again next week with another update of the Profit Builder program.